Welcome. Thanks for clicking by Just Stamp with Anna Marie. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create this center step fancy fold card. And I'm showing it embellished with the coffee sets in two of the catalogs. So let me show you what I'm using first, then I'm going to focus on helping you create the center fold template and also how to create the cool wood background. So let me show you what we're using first. So from the main catalog, I'm using the Coffee Cafe stamp set. And of course we have the coffee cups framelets that coordinate. From the holiday catalog, I'm using the Merry Cafe stamp set. I'm also going to be using the framelets from the Seasonal Layers Thinlet dies. You can see on my card I've featured some of the fall leaves that I've cut in Cajun Craze, pumpkin pie, and crushed curry. My inks for this project are just going to be Early Espresso, Crumb Cake, and I'm also using the Cajun Craze Stampin' Write marker. What I've done is just omitted some of the message on the Hello Fall stamp. You can see I've used it here. So for my papers, I'm using Early Espresso as my card base. I'm using Cajun Craze, Pumpkin Pie, Crushed Curry, Whisper White, Garden Green, and the Pretty Designer Series paper comes from the holiday catalog, and I'm using again the paper set on page 49. It's called Painted Autumn Designer Series paper, and I'm using two of the sheets. I'm using the pumpkin background and the, let's see, it's the crushed curry stroked background. So let's get started on creating the base. My best tool for creating the base, since I'm going to be cutting and scoring, I'm going to use my Stampin' Write paper trimmer, and I'm going to go ahead and extend the arm to the side. I've got a little trick here for you because I'm cutting and scoring on the Early Espresso, which is a dark paper. I've gone ahead and I've inserted just Whisper White right behind the measuring tool. That allows me to see my digits on the ruler a lot easier than trying to gauge it on the dark Early Espresso background. So I've cut one 8.5 by 11 sheet in half, this time vertically, so my measurement is 11 by 4.25, and I am going to be cutting and scoring on this template. So I'm going to be using first my scoring blade, which is the lighter gray blade, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in the horizontal position. I'm going to push up to the 1-inch mark, and I'm going to score from 0 to 1 inch, and then again from 3.25 to 4.25. So 1 inch top and bottom. So I go ahead and place my scoring blade, the 1-inch mark, and score up. And I'm going to lift it, bring it down to the 3.25 mark, and score down. So that's an inch on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and push over to the 2-inch mark. And again, I'm going to start at the 1-inch mark. I'm going to come down, at the 0 mark and come down to 1 inch. And I'm going to lift the arm, come down to 3.25, and score down to the end. And next, I'm going to push over to the 5.5 inch measurement. And this time I'm scoring the center piece. That's going to be our center step. So I'm going to start scoring at 1 inch, and I'm going to come down to 3.25. And my last score, I'm going to lift the arm, and I'm going to come over to 6.5. And again, I'm scoring just the step, so I'm going from 1 inch up to 0, lifting, coming down, 3.25 to 4.25. So I've got my scoring complete. I'm going to go ahead and push the scoring blade out of the way, and I'm going to rotate right. So I'm going to be cutting now that center panel. I'm going to start cutting at the 1-inch mark, right where my score line ends. So I'm going to go ahead and lift that up, bring it up to the 1 inch mark, and I am going to cut down to the 6.5 inch score. Again, I'm going to lift and I'm going to push it over to the 3.25 inch position. And again, I'm going to be cutting just that portion between the 1 inch score and the 6.5 inch score. And there you go. Our base has been cut. Now I'm going to show you how I do that cool wood grain technique on the background. So I'm using the, the new 3D dynamic textured embossing folder. This is the pine wood planks. And because I want to add a little bit of texture to it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do some inking up. And I flip the folder over, not to the Stampin' Up side, but to the other side. That's the side I'm going to be inking up right in here. And I'm going to do that with my early espresso ink. And let's see, I need my brayer. Brayer I like to use, Stampin' Up of course carries the sponge brayers. I used to like to use the rubber cylinder brayer. So I'm going to ink up on my early espresso pad. I'm going to just contact the ink pad rolling in one direction so I ink up the wheel nicely. And I'm going to ink up that embossing folder. You can see the ink coming through. And I'm now ready to go ahead. I'm going to insert the front of the card so it is the portion that gets inked up. But I'm going to come down to the 1 inch base so that it's at the 1 inch mark. And I need my big shot. I need my platform. And since this is the 3D texturized folder, I don't need an embossing pad, sorry, a pad down below. I just need a top layer. So I'm going to go ahead and put my folder down, cutting pad, and go ahead and crank it through. So when I open it up, you can see I've got this cool wood grain on my cardstock this time. It really brings out the texture of the wooden plank. So I'm now ready to go ahead and fold my card. So I'm going to start with a mountain fold on that 1 inch mark. At the 2 inch, it's going to be a valley fold. Sometimes if you flip it over, you can see a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and crease down nicely. Then I'm going to fold at the 5.5 inch line. So I've got my 5.5 inch score folded and my 6.5. And I've now got the base for my center step template. I'm next going to be embellishing. I've gone ahead and stamped and snipped some of my pieces. So I've got the Hello Fall. From the Designer Series paper, I've cut some of the pumpkins, and you can see it was no matter that I had a complete pumpkin. I kind of like it falling off the design anyway. Maybe I'll go ahead and put that one on this side. And I've got another pumpkin to put on this side. I'm going to be using my Tombow liquid adhesive. My next step is going to be to put the green straw down. Next, I'm going to put my whipped cream. And using dimensionals, I'm going to be adhering my coffee cup, but I'm going to hold off a second. Let me push that aside for just a minute, because I'm going to be adhering my cozy, and I'm going to be wrapping about a 8-inch length of twine. I just like to put a glue dot behind, and I'm going to wrap that twice. And then I'm using one of the little heart embellishments. This came from the collection of corrugated elements. Cute little heart. So now I'm ready. This is going to be adhered using the mini dimensionals, and it's going to be going right over the straw and the whipped cream. My pieces are falling off because they're not adhered. You get the idea. So last, I'm just going to be adding my falling leaves, a little Cajun craze at the top, pumpkin pie at the center, and crushed curry down at the bottom. And voila, here's my finished product. If you'd like the measurements and the complete list of supplies used, please skip over to Just Stamp with Anna Marie. If you have any questions, please email me at amp@annamariepalmrin.com. Again, please stop by my website, annamariepalmrin.com. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.